Hey guys, welcome back to Human Will Perform. Today we are talking about core symptom number 2, boundaries, or the big kahuna as it's often referred to in relationships. We are kind of going through this book by Pia Mellody that I'm loving, Facing Codependency, so check it out. Head over to Amazon, click this book, and it's going to take you somewhere really fun, namely my blog, but then you can go to Amazon and buy the book. But over on my blog, I've got the written version of what we're talking about today, and it goes into a lot more depth too. Boundaries. Why do we need them? Well, they're helpful. They protect me and they protect you. They help me know where I am in space. They help me also know where I am in relationship to you. It keeps me safe. It protects me. It keeps you safe. It protects you. Okay, so boundaries are kind of like fences. We are the house, and so we have control over who's going to come in our fence, how they're going to get in, what we're going to do when they get in to our yard, and then whether or not they're going to be allowed in our house. And so boundaries are fences. Fences are good. Okay, boundaries are the most loving thing that you can set up from the get-go in a relationship, whether it be romantic or whether it just be a friendship. Okay, we have to know where we stand in relationship to one another, because that's going to help us learn how to have intimacy and healthy connections with one another. Okay, so outside of boundaries, there are two kind of distinctions. We have internal boundaries and external boundaries. Internal boundaries are all the things that pertain to our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors or actions. Okay, so someone who has a high level or healthy internal sense of boundaries is someone who can take ownership of what they're saying, of what they're feeling, and what they're doing. Someone who doesn't have healthy boundaries is going to be someone who kind of blames everyone else and can't take ownership over the fact that they were the ones that said it. They're the ones that are feeling angry or pissed off, or they're the ones that are doing whatever it might be that they're doing. And so it's really helpful to understand that we have an internal sense of boundaries. We also have an external sense, and that relates to the physical and sexual piece. Okay, so the physical piece is like, when we're kids, we have the hula hoop around us. They're like, this is my bubble, don't get inside of it. And that's a good thing, but it kind of helps me know how do I engage and how do I connect with you in a way that's appropriate and that makes you still feel safe and comfortable. And so just as much as the physical is important, the sexual is too. That is all about the who, what, where, when, why. If someone does not have a healthy external sexual boundary, they're likely manifesting itself out and sleeping around with all different types of people at will, and it's very transactional because they are trying to get certain needs met, but they just don't know how, and so they're doing it the best way that they know how, and yet it always comes up short. Conversely, someone who has a very good sense of their external sexual boundary is someone who definitely defines the who, what, where, when, why, and it's very consistent, and it makes everyone else kind of knows, and it doesn't leave a lot of room for gray. Does that make sense? There's no sense of like, well, I don't know. So they're hard boundaries, okay? They keep you safe and they keep me safe. And so we have the internal, we have the external. Apart from that, Pia Mellody talks about there's 4 different types of boundaries. We have no boundaries, damage boundaries, walls instead of boundaries, and then the last one is shifting back and forth from the walls to no boundaries. And so I go into a lot more detail over on my blog, and so click below, it will take you to my website, click on blog, and you'll scoot on over there and check that out where I go into a lot more depth. But why are we talking about boundaries? Aside from the fact that they're important, okay, Olivia, I get that, they keep me safe, okay, that's nice, but really what I'm trying to challenge you with is just to take a deeper look into how do you connect with other people. Do you find that you have a really hard time having intimacy in friendships and in romantic relationships? Do you always kind of feel like you're talking the other language, or maybe you can't ever say no? Or maybe you can say no with a certain group of people but not with another group of people? Maybe you've been abused. You have a history of abuse, and not just of the sexual variety, because that's what people tend to think of, but maybe of the emotional or verbal or physical, and you can't seem to figure out why. You were abused as a kid, but now in this loving marriage relationship, you're continuing to be abused. How do you keep being drawn to these types of women or these types of men? It has to do with boundaries. And so it is important. We want to kind of put ourselves underneath this microscope and kind of see, gosh, where do I line up? Do I tend to fit more in the category where I have no boundaries, that my life is super chaotic? Or do I fit more in the damage boundaries, that it kind of has holes and it's super inconsistent and people don't really know where they line up with me? That I can say no to some group of people, but I can't say no to others, and I continually get taken advantage of. Maybe I'm just really unaware and can't see other people's boundaries. So it's just really important, because what I would hope for you is that you can give the best version of yourself in relationship, whether that be with friends, family members, or with a partner or spouse, because you are so gifted and you are a gift to other people in relationships, and we need you, but we need healthy, intimate connections. And if there's anything that I've noticed in all the clients that I've worked with, it always seems to come back to the fact that I can't connect. I've never really had healthy intimacy in friendships, much less in relationships. And I just want to be seen. I want to be acknowledged, and I want to have worth, and I want to have value and purpose. But so go on that journey. Dig in. Invest. You want to give the best version of yourself in relationships. Because at the end of the day, that's what we've got. We were created to be in relationship with one another. And it's a whole heck of a lot easier and a whole lot less messy when we can do that in healthy, intimate ways. Life will be richer. Happiness goes up. Joy goes up. And across the board, we as individuals just function and perform so much better. So where do you find yourself in the whole boundaries spiel? Do you have no boundaries? Do you tend to wall people out? Tend to hide behind this massive wall of anger, of words, of silence, fear? Or do you have damage boundaries? Or do you kind of oscillate between walling people and no boundaries? And if so, why? And what are we going to do about it? Because it doesn't have to be that way. So make sure that you click that subscribe button so that you can get a little email that says, hey, Olivia's uploaded a new video. And you can continually check it out, share it on your social media. We would be so, so grateful for that. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.